What's good? It's your boy JG Tennis back with another video today. So today's video I'm gonna be doing something that nobody else has done yet. And that is an MCU and DCEU and Star Wars crossover, where I rank all 50 movies. I'm not gonna do the series. I'm gonna rank some of MCU series, but first, I'm going to do all 50 movies which involve MCU, DCEU, and Star Wars. So, let us go ahead and rank them. We're going to go from 50 to 1. At number 1, Suicide Squad. So, this movie in particular is really not so good. And when you have this movie, it seems like it starts off kind of very good, but it has a 26% Rotten Tomatoes. And this movie just really rushed through everything. Like, you don't really have too much of a comment, and you do have the Joker involved, so we're like so confused on what's going on, like why the Joker has his own evil plan if he's not going to be involved in this movie. But, the choreography is just not good, You do have some emotional moments, including like Will Smith's dead shot where he has his daughter and all of that. But it's not really a well played out movie. Grandma? Grandma? Oh. Sorry, y'all. I thought Grandma yelled. Let me turn back on this fan. At number 49, Justice League 1. So, this movie was also really not good. Some people were going into this movie thinking, oh my gosh, this is gonna be very awesome. Well, thought wrong. The reason why I didn't really like this movie because it didn't really play as a Zack Snyder style, and you saw how it really paid off. Where it kind of like rushed through a lot of things. It made some action very cool and weird. But you see, we call it Justice League. But this movie, when you have Superman come in late, like you don't give him a specific thing to do, and it just doesn't play out very well. And how the story was, it was just not very good. It tried its best, but could not do it. At number 48 is Thor: The Dark World. So this movie was one of the weirdest, most known movies ever. Now, of course, this movie is 66% Rotten Tomatoes. I personally do not hate this movie, but the reason why this movie is just at the bottom is just because of it has one of the most forgettable villains out there. Like, he does not have a real special moment and effect that makes us feel that this guy is very good. And this movie has some good stuff, like the fight scenes, the action, and all of that. But it just does not play very well. And at number 47, we have Thor. Of course, we say it again, I personally do not hate this movie. Of course, it's 77% Rotten Tomatoes. But what makes this movie very here at the bottom is because of the first part of this film is like inducing. We see Asgard with its beauty and everything that you see, but then the movie just shifts when it goes to Earth. You spend too much time on Earth, and you just get cringe script, and all the momentum just shifts, and I don't really love the movie. Like I loved the movie at first, but then when everything shifted, it just was not really that good. At number 46, Star Wars: The Clone Wars. This movie was really not supposed to be a movie, but instead it did become a movie. So what happened here in this, it was just like an episode from the Clone Wars series and just crammed up into one, and of course it's 18% Rotten Tomatoes, but this movie was real, like just like kind of like a TV series with stuff crammed into one, and it wasn't really that special. It does give some good scenes, like action, but it was just like just trying to be like kind of like a series and not like a movie. And at number 45 is Star Wars: Attack of the Clones. Now we all know about this movie. This movie was just too focused on Padme and Anakin's cringy romance, and then it does have some good action involved, but it just does not play well. And the villain, of course, sometimes when you have some shows, the villain is not very seen until the very end of the story. But remember, oh shoot, I'm sleepy. In Phantom Menace, the villain was shown already, but it just did not play out very well. It did not give you enough information on why to like it, and this fighting is very good, but the movie itself was just not very inducing and great. At number 44, Wonder Woman 1984. So this movie was really kind of entertaining, but it did too much. It has some good action and good stuff going on, but then you try to bring back Steve Trevor, and we're like, wait, hold up. And then you have this guy who has this like gem that he can like wish on anything to happen, and then we're like, hold up, what's going on here? What is going on? And it's just too much to bother. You have some things that are good, some things that are bad, and it just does not play out like it's supposed to. At number 43 is The Incredible Hulk. Now, me personally, I do not hate this movie at all. I think this movie like doesn't get a lot of credit, because I really enjoyed this movie about somebody who's running away from the he's like a runaway, and then he's trying to hide his technology and all of that. But one thing that stands out is that it's like the Dark Horse, and that it just doesn't feel like a real MCU movie and how it's structured. But the only best part in this movie is really the final battle, where you get some Hulk action against Abomination. Villain Abomination is a villain that you would never forget, because how good he was, how strong he was, and it just played out alright. At number 42 is Iron Man 2. So Iron Man 2 is supposed to be better than what it has. The thing is, it tried cramming things too much. Like, you do have a scene where you have a villain known as Whiplash, but it just brings out like bigger things to fry, like cringe in a lot of ways. Then you have his butt, like he has to find a way to cure himself because the machine that keeping him alive is also killing him on the inside, and he has to find a way to keep himself alive. And it's an okay movie, but I just didn't really like how it was structured. At number 41 is Eternals. Now, yes. Yes, that's correct in the dates. It's April 19th through 22nd. I'll be with you. Yeah, like, right. Yes. Hey, don't turn off the light. I'm filming. Eternal is just something. It's at least something. Eternal. It's something. Now, this movie I do not hate, but I wish it wasn't really like a Disney Plus series, because you gotta get 10 new characters involved and into. And let me see. It's 47% Rotten Tomatoes. It does have some stuff that we never seen before in the MCU before, but it was an okay movie, but it was just not really that good. At number 40 is Birds of Prey and Harley Quinn. Now, this movie was small scale, where Harley Quinn broke up with the Joker. Now that the Joker's not there, everybody's after her, so she goes through some phases. Then she gets helped by people who are become known as the Birds of Prey. Now, you see, she gets a relationship with a kid on how to be good and all of that, but it's just a real okay movie that gives you some okay gig, and it was okay, but not really that big. At number 39 is the Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad, not 2016 Suicide Squad, this year's, or Suicide Squad 2. So this movie, it did some good things. It did have Suicide Squad go on a mission, and then you have some more to go through. And this movie is really okay. It's not big, but it's something, and it was able to do good with what it was able to make with some of these characters and how they bond. And there's one character that hated one person, and then they don't hit that. At number 38, Star Wars The Last Jedi. This movie was real good. I loved it. Like, I loved it. In this movie, you have the first part of the movie where they're trying to escape, but then this movie just proves a lot of things. You have a lot of twists and turns in this movie. Like, who knew that this was gonna be involved in this movie, and who knew that everyone would just feel the emotion? And then you're on this good journey where you find out where Luke Skywalker is, and it brings out very good, and it's just something to get used to. And number 37 is Solo: A Star Wars Story. Solo: A Star Wars Story deserves a lot more credit. Why? This is the movie that brought you some of the best moments. Like, it tries also to be small scale, but it does involve some good action and flying, and good action and shooting, and then the final. But it's a very good, like, story, just talking about him. It's not about the Empire, the Jedi. It's just him and gambling, just him finding his name into this world, and it's just a very good movie. I really enjoyed it, and I really want to hope that y'all enjoy it too. At number 36, Captain Marvel. So Captain Marvel was an okay movie. The movie is really carried out by the younger Nick Fury, but the movie does bring some good stuff. And this movie would have been higher, but you see there's not really a big villain. The reason why, in movies we really want to see a big villain that's somebody that's kind of actually more powerful than her, that she had to stop and she beats him or her, but it just really shows that she's in an amnesia to wire her down, and she is to think of what people, it's like people are controlling her and all of that. So we're like, hold up, what's going on in this movie? What is going on? Like, why is this even a movie? But it does have a good origin story and does give some good moments and good fighting sequences. But it's at number 36. At number 35 is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. So this movie, y'all gonna say, yo, what's up?
Yo, I'm having like this.
For real? So Guardians of the Galaxy 2, it was a good movie, but it tried to be just like the first one, and it ended up just trying to bring in some funny moments. Like, it forces the humor. Movie review video. And the humor is kind of funny, but it's like forcing it. The only good thing in this movie, you have some battles, but to bring in the golden people is not really good. And then they're trying to be very extra with the movie. But one of the things that I really loved was the sacrifice of Yondu and I mean the death of Yondu, not sacrifice. And it was just a very emotional moment. This movie has some good stuff to it and something that you could rewatch. At number 34 is Phantom Menace. Star Wars: The Phantom Menace. So this movie was really not really the first movie. It was a prequel. But this movie has some very good moments. Where you start out on a conquest, then you meet this boy, and you try to help him win ways to get his freedom, and then you go on some of the best lightsaber sequences. And this movie was not really particularly a war. Like, the war was, there's no really war. It's just, it's not really like a big war. Like, there's one war in Star Wars where you have this one villain and then you have another. There's a villain behind this, we figured that out, but it's with different people. But what makes this movie very more better is that it has some of the best sequences, it has one of the best moments, and you get to spend a lot of time in this movie to watch it. And I enjoyed this movie, but it could have done a little better. At number 33 is The Rise of Skywalker. Now, this movie tried to be like Avengers Endgame, if I'm not mistaken. It tried to be like Avengers Endgame. It tried to find a way to get a big finale. Of course it did, with these big ships that have like cannons that can destroy literal planets. Like, they can be used like a Death Star. But it tried to go too big, too quick. So you got to get all the small stuff out of the way, and then you have some of the big things going on. And I can say this movie is okay.
No.
But it just did not go to my expectations. At number 32, you have Captain America: The First Avenger. So this movie I really enjoyed. It was an origin story, and it started out pretty good, but then the Red Skull was just not really a good villain. It kind of made the film a little more like, of course he's a big villain, but it just lacked too much to see how this movie turned out. And you do have this big sacrifice where he goes into the eyes and then he's found. But it's a really good moment. But it just did not really go that big. At number 31 is Aquaman. Aquaman, this movie was okay. It was just kind of cringe too. Like, you do have some good moments, but the guy, you just have him just saying he's just saying some stuff. And it was a real okay movie with some hype, with some action, but it was just more with cringe-worthy and joke. It was just very cringe. That's why this movie really at number 31, but it could have been better. At number 30 is Iron Man 3. So this movie played out very different from any Iron Man. What this movie did very well was that the first part where you have the Mandarin coming, then you have like a Mandarin twist. I enjoyed that. But when you find out who the Mandarin really is, the best part about this movie is when, of course, the final battle where you have all these Iron Man suits coming, and then one suit comes to the rescue and all of that. Oh shoot, oh my goodness, I don't know. But this suit plays out very well. I enjoyed this movie. I wish it was kind of a little longer and explored it a little bit better. Then you have him trying to find a way, trying to be this guy to find out anything that's going on, and I enjoyed the movie pretty good. But it just comes up at number 30. And with that, at number 29, Ant-Man and the Wasp. So this movie I enjoyed. Of course, it's trying to be small scale, or everybody's trying to get over a piece of technology. But you do have some of the best scenes, fight scenes, and you go bigger where you have this cars that can like turn small and turn big, and it's a movie that I got used to really, and I wish kind of it was a little larger, but I just saw that the other movies that I have on this list were just better and had more things. At number 28 is Spider-Man Homecoming. So we hadn't seen Tom Holland as the Spider-Man, and I enjoyed this movie very much. You have Tony Stark as the mentor, and Peter is trying to stop these bad guys that Tony does not really know. And you see, this movie just has some of the best scenes that you will ever see. But how good of a movie can this really get? Like, you see everyone has a part. You have him in a teenage life, really, and you just have one of the best moments, like where he's stuck under a building and he's trying to call for help, and then he realizes he's help. And then the final battle is not really that good, but it is okay. It's time to see him doing the right thing and beat his hero, and it's a very okay movie with all the best stuff to have. At number 27 is Ant-Man. Now we finally get the origin where this criminal becomes this hero, where he gets a second chance, and it's a movie I had to get used to, of course. We're watching it many times, and I literally enjoyed it very much. Of course, one of the best villains out there is Yellow Jacket, who just has a very good motive for what he's doing, and this movie just pushed the limits, made it so good, and I enjoyed it very much, and you should too. And now we're at the last movie we're halfway there. At number 26 is Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy, Joaquin, I know you would have this at number 1, but I have this at 26, buddy, so sorry. Guardians of the Galaxy is a good movie where you have a group of 5 people coming together. But Ron not really a forgettable villain. But what really makes this movie very small is because of it kind of should have been a little longer, and then you do have some emotional moments in this movie about family and all of that, but I wish it was kind of longer and explored Groot and Rocket more. It did not explore, like, it mostly explored only Quill, then it explored Gamora, like, it should have explored all of these characters more than Quill. At number 25 is Doctor Strange. Like, this movie blew my mind because it just had me thinking of what are really possible things in this world. Like, you see buildings going upside down, mirror dimensions, and it altercates our reality to see. Like, this movie moved beyond, like, is this even possible in this world? It's kind of like A Wrinkle in Time, but this movie just has some of the best known aspects involved, and you do have some forgettable villains like Malekith. No, not Malekith. That's Thor Dark World. Caecilius and Dormammu. And you see in the final battle, you see Doctor Strange use the Time Stone, and it's kind of a good thing to realize. And that's gonna get me thinking about more of anything else. Like, it's time. Like, could people go back in time? Could they do it? And I really, 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 really love this movie, and I can't wait to look at it again. I don't know, really. Now, some of y'all are gonna be like, James, why is this at 24? Shouldn't this be a little lower? Well, at number 24, I have Batman versus Superman. Now, forget all what everybody else says. I enjoy this movie. I love the motives that Batman had, and Superman, really, really good. Like, this movie just made sense to me. I don't know about anybody else, because when Batman and Superman versus each other, it's some good fighting scenes, but it just brings some good moments. Of course, talking about man versus God is a true fact. I heard about it before, man versus God. Like, you can't really beat a god, like, but a man has to use fire and burn him to the ground, which is a good motive, like finding kryptonite. And you use all these characters very wisely, but then you have a big showdown at the end, which is good. Doomsday, and then you have Wonder Woman come in. It brings you a great surprise, and you're about to do the Justice League, but you know the Justice League 1 was not good. Then you got Justice League 2, which was awesome. But this movie was A-okay. It just good action, good things, and it just knew how to bring some of the best stuff into the film. At number 23 is Shazam. So you have an orphan, and this movie mostly talks about family. It talks about friendship, and you see it has a pretty good origin where somebody has a chance to have this power, and his motive is very good. The villain is very, very good also. It's funny, comedy, and action, and very serious at the same time. It's just a very, very, very emotional movie that I enjoy. Asher Angel is very, very good in this situation, and I enjoyed this movie very, very much, and it's just something that we also can look at. At number 22 is Spider-Man Far From Home. This movie was actually pretty good. I loved it. But what this movie kind of lacked, the only reason this movie could have been higher is if it was kind of a little longer, went to more countries, and then, you know, the first hour of this film was most likely good about saving the planet and all that, but then the movie takes a turn where Mysterio is revealed as the villain, and I kind of wish that it explored more on that. But it was a pretty inducing movie. It has some great action, and then I wish they did the same Mysterio stuff just like they did when he was fighting them. But it was a good movie. I enjoyed it, and you would too. At number 21, Star Wars Empire Strikes Back. James. I know what y'all gonna say. Y'all gonna say, wait, shouldn't this be higher or in like at least top 15 or 20 or top 10 actually? Well, no. The first part of the movie is pretty fantastic. It goes on with a big battle scene, but then you don't involve everybody else. So it kind of gets away from it as a war. That's what it plays out for me. Now some of y'all will be like, why is that bad? It's not bad, but it just like it doesn't really like make any sense a lot of the time because it goes good, but then it really shifts down. And the lightsabers, the only thing I enjoy is the lightsaber scene between Darth Vader and Luke, and then Darth Vader tells Luke that he is his father. But it just wish that it kind of use like a bigger war version, and of course it goes on to say they have to save Han Solo. But the movie was not really bad at all. I enjoyed it. It's one of the best. Some people have it as the best Star Wars movie, and I can't disagree with you on that. And I don't think it's bad. I think it's great, but not better than the other movies I got on here. And inside of the top 20 is Avengers: Age of Ultron. Now I know people are gonna be like, "This is the most confusing MCU movie ever." I know, but does that change the fact that it's the worst? It's not really the worst Avengers movie. Not like it's the bottom of all these Avengers movies, but it's like it's okay, not okay, it's great. You get the same action just like in the first. You explore the characters. You have a villain who has a good motive, and it's just a very, 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 very good movie that has some one twist and one turn, and a great fight scene that really just brings you the most, and then you just have one of the best moments ever. And the villain is non-forgettable. It is a villain that we love, a villain that makes sense, a villain that we all really want to see get killed or destroyed, or somebody that is cared about. And it just moves on to be one of the best villains in this franchise. And number 19 is Black Widow. So the first half of the film is like kind of being too much on action. She's a runaway, she's action and all of that. And the second half is pretty good, where they go like, and I respect that they went over the top, where they go up to the Red Room. And what makes this movie less interesting is Taskmaster. Now I don't disrespect that she's a woman, but I'm talking about how they used her. Like Taskmaster is supposed to be more like used more of those abilities than how they were used now. But I wish they could have used more of Taskmaster, which would probably made the movie more better. But I enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed it as a spy movie, and we're never gonna see Yelena back. But this is just a very, very, very good movie. I enjoyed it very much, and I cannot wait to see how Yelena is used in the future, just like she was in Hawkeye. And number 18 is Star Wars: Return of the Jedi. Now, this movie is a real good inducing movie. So you see they have to save Han Solo. They spend time with that. Then go back. Yoda dies. Then you have to come back. Get ready for war. And it's like the next, I think, 1 hour of this film is just the best hour. Because of all the stuff, the battles, the lightsaber battles, and then the redemption moment for Vader. And it's just one of the best movies that I have ever seen. And if I remember, if they had audience reaction when Vader threw the Emperor, people would have been cheering like, yeah. But I enjoyed this movie very, very much, and you would too. And this movie just brought me to realize how well that this movie was made. At number 17 is Star Wars The Force Awakens. So The Force Awakens, this is a movie where it tried to kind of be better than the first one. You have this base that needs to be struck. You go through kind of the same origin that Luke Skywalker has, where something happens and then they go on this adventure. It's kind of like a roller coaster ride, and stuff is brought along, and then you have some of these characters coming back, and then you go to the final battle, which is very, very good scenes, the TIE fighters and all of that. But this movie really it did a good job to be a roller coaster ride and to bring us into this new adventure with these new characters who's going to be some of the best people in the future. Like, you know, in every trilogy there's like 3 people. There's, you know, in the first trilogy, Luke, Leia, Han. Well, yeah. Then a prequel, and you had really Obi-Wan, Padme, and Anakin. And then, you know, Anakin turned evil. And then you have Rey, Finn, and Poe. But it was just a well-known movie, a good thing to have, and I enjoyed it very, very, very much. At number 16, we got Wonder Woman. So this movie, the first 2 acts are very, very, very good of how everything's going, where she leaves her island. But then the final battle was just not too good. It lacked a little bit, but that didn't stop it from being one of the best DCEU movies ever. It's 3rd on my DCEU list, and you could possibly see this being one of the best. And it does have some great things where you have Battle of Man. Ares is a good villain, a twist involved, but this movie knew how to do good with Wonder Woman and her powers and have some moments that are good, and I really enjoyed it. And it's 95% Rotten Tomatoes, so I really enjoyed it. At number 15, you have Captain America Winter Soldier. This is a political thriller, y'all. Political thriller. This movie knew how to bring the politics and the action and kind of the fun together. Like, you find a way to see that S.H.I.E.L.D. has been compromised, and Captain America starts to figure that out. And you have the action, the music, the scenes, the involvement with Falcon and all these other people. And it's just a very, 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 very rich movie and good movie. And it talks about friendship, where his best friend Bucky, with some good moments where he says, "I'm with you to the end of the line, pal," and all of that. And it just really made one of the best movies ever. And I think it's top. I think if I'm looking, it's top 10 in my MCU rank. But at number 14 is Thor Ragnarok. Thor Ragnarok was a good movie, and some people are going to be like, they spent too much time on Sakaar. But it made it work. You find a way to say that Thor stopped Ragnarok, but then you see somebody else is coming, and then you have Thor going on this adventure where he has to find a way to get out to stop Ragnarok, but then Ragnarok is already beginning. But then you involve Hulk in there, Valkyrie, and then Loki has his redemption moment when it comes to save people of Asgard. But I really, really, really enjoyed all of this, and it was more colorful than the other Thor movies. Like, it just had more things go on. It had better action. It had some great moment when Thor's talking to Odin. It just really, 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 really made the movie better, and it's the best Thor movie, of course. At number 13 is Iron Man. This is the beginning of the MCU. Iron Man was just good. He goes into a literal cave and then breaks out and then becomes this hero. I love this movie, this origin. This is the definition of an origin story. And you bring a whole lot of things where Tony Stark's kind of changed after being in the cave, realizing what's been going on with his weapons and what he needs to do. And one of the best things you could ever have was the battle with two robots going at it, and it just really, really, really pushed the limit and made it a great movie, and I enjoyed it as much as everybody else does. And number 12 is Rogue One. So the first half, of course, kind of be a little boring. Not really boring, but really inducing. But then when you go to the so-called, not lightsaber battle, one of the best space battles and final battles ever in Star Wars, you just see all the things going on. But in this movie, the main characters, they don't even make it out alive. Like, you realize that they're gonna die for the rebellion, and it just shooters you in. But then after those kind of things, you really get a scene that finalizes where Darth Vader and the Rebel Alliance versus the Rebel Alliance, and you see how everything goes. And then this movie is going forward into A New Hope. And this is just a movie that I watched many times, and I loved it very, very much. I have to get used to it. And then, at number 11, just like I said, it was going into New Hope. It's gonna be Star Wars: A New Hope at number 11. Just the beginning of Star Wars. It just brought you to this new universe, like the robots and aliens, and a farm boy who becomes trained and gets into this adventure. And you just see how I wasn't born in those days, but I saw how this movie just got me great into Star Wars. I think I grew up with another Star Wars movie, but this movie played off everything, like from the beginning to the end. And then, the space battle of the Death Star was one of the best battles ever. And I enjoyed it, how the little farm boy becomes a hero. And this movie was almost in the top 10, but it wasn't. At number 10 is Man of Steel. Now, I have to get used to this movie, of course. And let me tell y'all something. Why is it at 52% Rotten Tomatoes? Are y'all stupid and dumb? This is one of the best, before Justice League 2, this is the best DCEU movie ever, and y'all have it at 52. Y'all think Wonder Woman is better than this? Now, y'all are mistaken, or y'all are, this movie right here is a good origin, has flashbacks, has everything, the first hour is him discovering more of his past, and then you have the Kryptonians coming, and this movie just knew how to settle everything and bring all the hype into it, and I enjoyed it very, very much. I don't know why not a lot of people enjoyed it, but this movie was good. I don't know what y'all talking about, what y'all thinking about this movie being. And to make it even better, this movie could have been higher, but it's at number 10, and it's okay. But I just really, really, really enjoyed this movie. From the first half to the second half and to the action. At number 9 is Shang-Chi. So this movie knew how to mix a lot of martial art, like mythic arts, martial arts, kung fu. And you see the first hour is more about technology. It starts off more technological and modern, and then it goes to Chinese mythology in the second half, and you just have one of the best films made in the MCU, like exploring the Chinese and the Asians finally have their own hero, and I really love this guy. Simu Liu is one of the best actors for this job. And this movie just kind of like some humor, but this movie knew how to tell a good story and knew how to make everything feel so good and have one of the best fight sequences ever in the MCU. Like, the Asians do it better than any of us with their fight sequences, and I love them. And yeah, I just really, really, really love this movie. At number 8 is Black Panther. So this movie, people will have this little, not really too far down, but people will say that this movie is very good. You have a new king, and you see, I respect my people, the African Americans, and I really, really love this movie from the beginning to the end. I still need to line up. From the first half to the second half, and this movie just played out so good. And even the moment, you have good action, you have good moments, and you do have one character, Ulysses Claw, is just not used very good. But then you have Killmonger, one of the best villains in the MCU, and I really love this scene, that throne scene, which was really badass, and it was just one of the best moments. Then the final battle was good between two cats going at it, and I enjoyed this movie very, very much, and it's just at number 8. And at number 7 is Zack Snyder's Justice League. I got done watching it. I enjoyed it. It was very better than Justice League. This movie was of course longer. It had some very, very good moments, and like, you know, when they bring Superman back to life, they got it more. They made it more inducing. They had more characters involved. They weren't rushing through anything. They paid every attention, paid every moment, and it paid off very, very well. The only thing certain is that when they involve Darkseid in the movie, you don't really get to see Darkseid fight, but I know that they're going to probably make another Justice League movie which involves Darkseid, and I cannot wait to see that one, and I really hope they do. And I hope to see Man of Steel 2 if they haven't. At number 6, Captain America Civil War. You finally found a way to break the Avengers apart, where they all have different values and views. You have Captain America versus Iron Man. The movie just goes so well to do with these characters and seeing what side they want to be on, depending on what goes on and what happens. But then when you go to the final battle, you see it's not about different opinions. It's about really seeing what this person really did to their parents and betrayal and all of that. And it's a movie that just brought you to tears. You're like, the Avengers broke up now. It's just something to really, really, really look upon. And this movie just really, really, really made you feel for every single person. And to involve Black Panther, Spider-Man, Ant-Man, it was just a real, real, real good thing to do. At number 5, Avengers Infinity War. Then this movie, people say, should be the best MCU movie ever. I love where everybody is together. I love the journey that everybody is going on. And the final battle was just good. All the Avengers fighting against Thanos and all these characters. It does need an emotional moment where everybody, like, not everybody, like, half the planet dies and some are still alive. But it's a very, very, very interesting movie. I loved how it played out. I loved how it started. I loved how it ended. And you go through every like I wish that kind of showed him getting the Soul Stone off of Xandar, and this will probably be a little higher, but it's at number 5 and it's where it should be on my list. But above it at number 4 is Avengers Endgame. Avengers Endgame should also be one of the best MCU movie, or also the best movie overall. Like this movie, like the first hour, you see how the Avengers go through different phases, how they change, how they respond to loss and all of that. But then the next the next hour and 40 or 50 something minutes is just high quality. The time sequence, and they go back in time, it's just big and great. And then the final battle where everybody comes back, it's just one of the best things you would ever see in the theater ever. And this movie just knew how to bring every good moment into this film, into this franchise, and just really, really, really paid off everything. At number 3 is Avengers, the first Avengers movie. Some of y'all may have this a little down, but I love this movie. I really, really love this movie. This is a movie I have to get used to more. Like, I had this, like, down below, but then when I saw the movie again and again, I just loved it more. And I just thought it was really still better than Endgame and Infinity War and Civil War and Age of Ultron. This movie just kicked off very well. The original was just better. And when you saw this movie, and you saw it kind of goes off this bit, but then you get to see one of the best things where the team is all doing one thing. The final battle, top notch. I just love the next action that is involved with everybody and how they're able to make this big movie. And I really, 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 really can't wait to see it again. And it's just a movie that I come to love. But at the runner-up spot, Spider-Man No Way Home. Now, I have this as the best MCU movie, but what this movie does is that it shows you all of the things that are going. The first half is okay, but the second half payoff is just brilliant, where you have one of the best things ever, like all the Spider-Man coming, and then I was just screaming in the theater when all the villains came, when all the original people came, and it was just a moment to remember in the film and the franchise. And you knew how to use all these characters wisely, and it has some good things, and I really, really, really loved the movie. And this movie was just a definition of how an MCU movie should be. And and it's like sad in the second half. It's like a real sad movie, which made it really, really a little better and made it very personal. And one of those movies that was really, really, really sad, and at number 1 is Star Wars Revenge of the Sith. This movie right here just got me. Like, the first half was just all about like war and everything is just okay, but then they knew how to make the second half, like, it's not really like a plot twist, but the second half was just made sad, and all the sorrow and regret and revenge is coming in, and all of this just is made really, really, really good. I enjoyed how everything was made in this movie. Now, the final battle with the lightsabers was excellent. With everybody having one part, everybody having a different version. Anakin vs. Obi-Wan, the best lightsaber battle ever. Y'all say it's the second best? How dare y'all? But this is just one of the best movie I've ever seen, and I am gonna rewatch it tonight after Avengers Endgame. And with that in mind, I thank y'all for watching my video. I thank y'all for tuning in, and peace out.